How to focus on you till you win. Welcome. This is how to focus on you till you win. If you're listening today, you've already taken the first step. You've chosen yourself. That choice is everything. Over the next hour, we'll walk together through the habits, the mindsets, and the practical routines that help you stay focused on what matters, yourself, your growth, your progress, until you win. This is not about selfishness. It's about mastery. It's about becoming the person who can give from abundance, not from need. It's about learning to control your attention, your reactions, your energy, and your time so you can build the life you want. Throughout this audiobook, you'll hear stories, psychology, simple exercises, and questions to reflect on. Wherever you are, walking, driving, or sitting quietly, pause when a reflection is offered and use the time to make it real. Now breathe, and let's begin. Chapter 1. Know your motives. The first move toward mastery. Let's begin with a question, a powerful one. Why do you do what you do? It sounds simple, but behind every action, every word, every dream, there's always a motive, a reason that pulls you forward or holds you back. Most people never stop long enough to ask that question. They wake up, check their phone, rush to work, respond to messages, chase goals, all without noticing what's really driving them. But if you want to focus on you till you win, that has to change. Because mastery begins with self-awareness. Think about it. When you say yes to something you don't want to do, what's the motive? When you scroll endlessly instead of working on your goals, what are you trying to escape? When you push yourself too hard, chasing achievement, what's underneath that drive? Maybe it's the fear of being left behind. Maybe it's the hunger to prove something to someone who doubted you. Or maybe it's a need for safety, for control, for recognition. There's no shame in any of these motives, but there's danger in being unaware of them. Because what you don't understand controls you. Let me tell you a small story. There was a man named Daniel, a brilliant designer. He worked endless nights chasing perfection. But no matter how much he achieved, he never felt enough. One day, his mentor asked him, "Why do you work this hard?" Daniel said, "Because I want to be great." The mentor smiled gently. "No, that's what you do. I'm asking why you need to be great." Daniel paused. After a long silence, he whispered, "Because I'm scared of being invisible." That moment changed everything. He realized he wasn't working from purpose, he was working from fear. And until he faced that fear, it would always drive his choices. Every motive has a root, and usually it traces back to one of two places, pain or purpose. Pain says, "I never want to feel that again." Purpose says, "This is what I was made for." Pain can fuel you for a season. It can make you hungry, determined, relentless. But purpose sustains you. Pain burns out, purpose endures. So here's your reflection moment. When you wake up in the morning, what emotion fuels your first thoughts? Is it anxiety, pressure, excitement, or gratitude? That emotion points directly to your motive. Let's go deeper. There are 6 common motives that guide most human behavior. They are safety, recognition, power, growth, love, and freedom. Safety says, "I need stability." Recognition says, "I need to be seen." Power says, "I want control." Growth says, "I need progress." Love says, "I want connection." Freedom says, "I want space to be myself." None of these are wrong. They only become a problem when one of them dominates your life. Too much safety, and you never take risks. Too much recognition, and you live for applause. Too much power, and you isolate yourself. Too much love, and you forget self-respect. Too much freedom, and you lose discipline. The goal isn't to eliminate motives, it's to balance them. Try this simple self-awareness exercise. Take a quiet moment today and write down 5 things you've done recently, big or small. Then beside each action, write why you did it. Be honest. Don't judge. Just observe. For example, I helped my friend move. Maybe because you care, or maybe because you wanted to feel needed. I posted on social media. Maybe because you wanted to inspire, or maybe because you wanted validation. I stayed up late working. Maybe because you're passionate, or maybe because you're afraid of failing. Once you've written these down, look at them closely. You'll start seeing patterns. You'll begin to notice which motives dominate your days, and that's the start of freedom. Because when you see your motives, you stop living on autopilot. You start living by design. Now, let's talk about the hidden motives, the ones we don't like to admit. Things like resentment, comparison, revenge, guilt. Sometimes we work hard not out of passion, but because we're trying to prove our worth. Sometimes we chase relationships not out of love, but out of loneliness. Sometimes we stay busy because silence would make us face ourselves. But here's the truth. Whatever you run from, runs your life. And whatever you face, frees you. The moment you can look at your motive and name it, even if it's not pretty, you take back your power. Awareness transforms reaction into choice. You move from, I don't know why I'm doing this, to, I see what's happening, and I can change it. That's mastery. Every strong leader, every high achiever, every peaceful person you admire, they all learn to understand their motives. They don't let impulse run the show. They've built emotional intelligence, the quiet ability to pause and see clearly. When someone criticizes them, they don't explode, they examine. When an opportunity appears, they ask, is this aligned with who I am, or just tempting my ego? That awareness keeps them steady, even when life gets loud. And here's the best part. When you understand your motives, you also begin to understand others. You stop reacting to people's moods and start recognizing their motives. You see that the person who brags isn't arrogant, they're insecure. The person who withdraws isn't cold, they're afraid of rejection. And suddenly, life becomes less about defense and more about understanding. That's emotional freedom. Now let's turn awareness into practice. Here's your daily motive routine. 1. Morning check-in. Before you grab your phone, ask, what's driving me today? Write one word, maybe peace, success, validation, love. Whatever it is, see it. 2. Midday awareness. When something triggers you, stress, envy, distraction, pause and ask, what do I need right now? You'll often find a motive underneath, the need to feel secure, respected, or rested. 3. Night reflection. Before bed, choose one moment from your day that stood out. Ask, what was my motive? Over a week, you'll start noticing which motives serve you and which drain you. This is not judgment. It's research on yourself. And when you know yourself, you can lead yourself. So here's the challenge for this week. Observe, don't react. Each time you catch yourself doing something automatically, eating, scrolling, replying, saying yes, pause for 3 seconds and ask, what's the motive behind this? You'll be amazed how much you learn. You'll start to notice that some actions bring peace, while others bring pressure. The goal is to build a life filled with actions that bring peace. Because peace is the real definition of winning. When you master your motives, you gain control over your direction. You're no longer driven by insecurity, fear, or validation. You're driven by clarity, by purpose, by vision. You stop chasing approval and you start chasing growth. And that, my friend, is how focus begins. That's the first move toward mastery. Chapter 2. Identify your core needs and balance them. Every human being carries a set of invisible needs. They shape how we think, what we chase, and how we feel. When these needs are balanced, we experience peace and progress. But when one need dominates, we lose balance, and life feels like an endless chase. To focus on you till you win, you have to understand those needs. Because they explain almost every decision you make. Think of your needs as the levers that pull your emotions. They are the quiet forces behind your habits, your relationships, and your happiness. No matter who you are, where you live, or what you believe, these 6 needs drive every person. Certainty, variety, significance, connection, growth, contribution. Let's explore them one by one. Certainty, the need for safety and stability. Certainty is the need to feel safe, to know what's coming next. It's why we plan, why we save money, why we hold on to routines. It gives us comfort and control. But too much certainty turns into fear. If you need things to always be predictable, you'll never step into opportunity. You'll stay in a job you hate, a situation that drains you, or a mindset that limits you, just to avoid uncertainty. So, certainty is good, until it becomes a cage. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to just because it feels safe? What could happen if I trusted myself to face uncertainty with strength? Variety, the need for change and excitement. Variety keeps life interesting. It's the reason we travel, explore, try new foods, and chase new experiences. Without variety, life becomes predictable, and the human mind resists stagnation. But when variety rules your life, you chase stimulation instead of stability. You start things but never finish them. You become addicted to new jobs, new goals, new relationships, but nothing ever lasts long enough to grow roots. Balance variety with purpose. Experiment, explore, and play, but always return to your foundation. Ask yourself, do I seek variety because I'm growing, or because I'm running from boredom? Significance, the need to feel important. We all want to matter, to feel seen, respected, and valued. That's significance, and it's not ego, it's a basic human drive. Significance can come from achievement, mastery, or contribution. It becomes dangerous only when we seek it through comparison. When your worth depends on being better than someone else, your peace becomes fragile. You rise and fall with every compliment, every like, every opinion. Real significance doesn't come from being superior, it comes from being useful. It's not about standing above others, but standing in your purpose. Ask yourself, am I chasing validation or meaning? Do I want applause or impact? Connection, the need for love and belonging. We are wired for connection. No matter how strong you are, you need relationships that remind you you're not alone. Connection gives life warmth and color. But when connection becomes an obsession, you lose yourself trying to please others. You say yes when you want to say no. You shrink yourself to fit in. You silence your voice just to avoid being left out. Healthy connection starts with self-respect. You can't give love from an empty heart. You can't show up authentically if you're pretending to be someone else. Ask yourself, am I connecting from fullness or from fear? Am I giving love freely or using it to earn approval? Growth, the need for progress and learning. Everything in nature grows, or it dies. The same is true for the human spirit. Growth gives meaning to effort. It transforms pain into purpose. When you grow, you feel alive. But there's a trap, chasing growth without rest. You read, you hustle, you improve, but never celebrate how far you've come. That's not growth, that's addiction to progress. True growth includes reflection and recovery. You need stillness to digest lessons. You need pauses to see how much you've changed. Ask yourself, am I growing intentionally or just keeping busy? What lesson is life teaching me right now that I haven't acknowledged? Contribution, the need to give beyond yourself. At some point, achievement alone stops satisfying. You realize that real fulfillment comes from contribution, from making someone else's life better. Contribution doesn't always mean money or charity. It can be a kind word, a skill shared, a story told, a hand extended. It's giving in alignment with your gifts. Contribution completes the circle of growth. You grow, you learn, you give, and that giving multiplies your joy. Ask yourself, who benefits from my growth? What value do I bring to others just by being me? Now, here's the secret. These 6 needs don't compete, they cooperate. Your peace depends on their balance. Imagine your needs as the strings of a guitar. Too tight and they snap. Too loose and they make no sound. Balance creates harmony. When one need takes over, life goes out of tune. When they align, you feel whole. Here's a simple weekly practice to stay balanced. Every Sunday, reflect on which needs you fulfilled last week. Did you feel safe? Excited? Valued? Connected? Did you grow? Did you give? Notice which needs were neglected. If you felt isolated, plan connection time. If you felt restless, schedule learning or change. If you felt burned out, give yourself rest and reflection. Adjust your week to feed all 6 needs, even in small ways. This keeps your emotional system balanced. It helps you focus on you, without losing your humanity. Remember, The goal isn't to satisfy every need perfectly, it's to stay aware. Awareness turns chaos into clarity. It reminds you that when you crave something, it's not weakness, it's communication. Your needs are messages from your deeper self saying, "Hey, something inside me needs attention." When you listen, you realign. When you ignore, you drift. Soft instrumental swell. So, take time to understand your needs. Don't let society decide them for you. Don't let someone else's version of happiness define yours. When you live in alignment, when your needs are met with balance, you become centered, calm, and powerful. And that inner balance is the foundation of focus. Because you can't focus when you're starving for what you've neglected. And you can't win when your energy is divided between your needs and your fears. Balance your needs, and you'll balance your life. Music softens, fade to reflective pause. That's how you prepare the mind for mastery, by understanding the human engine that drives it. In the next chapter, we'll learn how to train your brain to stay calm and think clearly, the mental foundation that keeps your focus steady even when the world gets loud. Chapter 3. Train your brain to stay calm and think smart. Life will always test you. Pressure, criticism, uncertainty, they come when you least expect them. And in those moments, one thing decides your strength. Your ability to stay calm and think smart. It's not intelligence that separates the strong from the weak. It's not luck. It's the discipline to control your emotions when chaos tries to control you. Most people live in reaction mode. Something happens, they panic, they lash out, they overthink, they spiral. But a focused mind doesn't react, it responds. It pauses. It observes. It decides. That's how you take power back from stress. So, in this chapter, you'll learn how to train your brain, to build calm like a muscle, and to think clearly even when life gets loud. The power of the pause. The moment stress hits, your body goes into alarm. Your heartbeat races. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts start running faster than your breath. That's your nervous system doing its job, it's protecting you. But protection can become panic if you don't intervene. Here's your first principle: never react instantly. Every time something triggers you, a rude comment, a setback, a fear, your power lives in the pause between what happened and what you do next. That pause is your weapon. It's where calm begins. It's where wisdom enters. When you pause, even for 3 deep breaths, you interrupt the cycle of automatic reaction. Your brain regains oxygen. Your logic turns back on. And now, instead of drowning in emotion, you start directing it. Try this simple practice. When tension rises, take 1 slow inhale through your nose, count to 4. Hold for 4. Exhale through your mouth, count to 4. Do this 3 times. You'll feel your heartbeat slow. You'll feel your focus return. That's not magic, that's biology. You just told your brain, "I am safe." And when the brain feels safe, it starts to think smart again. Awareness, the mind's mirror. Calm is impossible without awareness. You can't manage what you don't notice. Most people react without realizing why. They feel angry but don't see the fear beneath it. They feel anxious but don't recognize the story that triggered it. They lash out, then regret it later. But awareness changes the game. When you notice your reactions, without judgment, you begin to see your mind as a mirror. You see the thought before it becomes a storm. You catch the emotion before it becomes a decision. Try this. The next time you feel triggered, instead of saying, "I'm angry," say, "I notice anger is present." That small shift separates you from the emotion. You become the observer, not the victim. And from that space of awareness, clarity begins to form. Awareness is your greatest strength because it creates choice. And choice is the doorway to focus. Rewrite the story in your mind. Most stress doesn't come from reality, it comes from interpretation. It's not the situation that breaks you. It's the story you tell yourself about the situation. Someone criticizes you, and you tell yourself you're not enough. A plan fails, and you tell yourself you're a failure. You lose money, and you tell yourself life is unfair. The facts stay the same. The story changes everything. A calm mind rewrites the story. What else could this mean? What if this isn't rejection, but redirection? What if this obstacle is preparation for something greater? Reframing doesn't deny reality, it upgrades your perspective. And perspective determines peace. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, ask this one question. What is this situation trying to teach me? That single question turns chaos into growth. It shifts you from victim to student, from fear to focus. Train under pressure. You can't build calm in theory. You build it in pressure. Athletes don't become champions by reading about the game. They train when it's hard, when it hurts, when it counts. The same goes for your mind. Everyday stress, delays, misunderstandings, rejections. These are your training sessions. They're not distractions from your growth. They are your growth. When something small frustrates you, traffic, noise, mistakes, practice calm on purpose. Breathe. Relax your shoulders. Choose grace. You are not just handling the moment. You are rewiring your brain to stay calm under pressure. The more you practice in small storms, the stronger you become for the big ones. Guard your environment and energy. Calm isn't just an internal habit, it's an environmental design. You can't stay calm if you live in chaos. Look around you. Is your space filled with noise, clutter, or constant alerts? Does your social circle feed anxiety or peace? You absorb the energy you live around. So, choose your atmosphere wisely. Create a space that breathes, a corner where you can reflect, journal, or simply sit in silence. Silence is not emptiness, it's medicine. And when it comes to people, surround yourself with minds that value calm, with voices that speak reason, not panic. Energy is contagious. Protect yours. Strengthen the body, strengthen the mind. Calm doesn't live only in the mind. It begins in the body. A tired, dehydrated, or tense body makes clear thinking almost impossible. When your body is weak, your emotions take over. So take care of your foundation. Move daily. Eat clean. Sleep deeply. Hydrate. A strong body sends signals of safety to the brain, and a safe brain makes wise decisions. You can't think smart if your body feels like it's in survival mode. Your physical state is the base of your mental state. Self-talk, the language of calm. When pressure hits, listen to your inner voice. What does it say? If your mind whispers, "This is too much," your body obeys, it tenses up. If you tell yourself, "I've got this," your body relaxes, and your brain activates focus. The words you speak internally create emotional chemistry. So, train your self-talk to be your ally. Replace, "I can't handle this," with, "I'll handle this step by step." Replace, "Everything's falling apart," with, "Everything's falling into place for me to learn." Simple shifts. Profound power. Calm is confidence. Here's the ultimate truth. Calm is not weakness, it's confidence in motion. Anyone can explode in anger. Anyone can panic. But calm means control. It means mastery over your emotions. Not suppression, but understanding. When you stay calm, you lead. You lead your emotions. You lead your thoughts. And eventually, you lead your results. Imagine a version of yourself that doesn't break when life shakes. Imagine walking through chaos, and your mind stays clear, steady, focused. That's not fantasy, that's training. Every breath you take in the storm builds that version of you. Because when you train your brain to stay calm and think smart, you stop reacting to life and start creating it. You become the eye of the storm. Still, centered, powerful. That's how you focus on you till you win. Chapter 4. Mastering Emotional Discipline and Mental Clarity. There's a quiet kind of strength that doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It doesn't break. It moves through life with calm certainty. That strength is called emotional discipline. And it's one of the greatest powers you can ever master. You see, most people think success is about what you do. But real success is about what you don't let control you. You can't lead your life if you can't lead your emotions. Because emotions, if left unchecked, will always lead you. They'll make you say things you don't mean, chase things you don't need, and quit things you were meant to finish. So if you want to focus on you till you win, you must learn to govern your emotional world with wisdom and clarity. The discipline of understanding. Emotional discipline doesn't mean you suppress how you feel. It means you understand what you feel and respond with purpose. Every emotion carries a message. Anger says, something feels unfair. Fear says, something feels unsafe. Sadness says, something important was lost. And joy says, something is aligned. Most people fight their emotions instead of decoding them. But when you stop resisting your emotions and start listening to them, they lose their power to control you. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, ask, what is this emotion trying to tell me? That single question moves you from chaos to clarity. It turns feelings into feedback. And feedback fuels growth. Respond, don't react. Emotional discipline is not about never feeling. It's about never reacting without thinking. A reaction is instant. It's driven by emotion. A response is intentional. It's guided by awareness. When something triggers you, pause before you speak, breathe before you act, reflect before you decide. Every time you delay reaction, you strengthen discipline. Every time you choose silence over impulse, you build control. And that control compounds. Day by day, you become emotionally bulletproof, not because life gets easier, but because you get wiser. The power of emotional neutrality. Here's a secret most people miss. The opposite of emotional chaos isn't happiness, it's neutrality. Neutrality doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you don't let emotion decide your worth or your next move. It's the ability to stay centered when things go right or wrong. When people praise you, you stay humble. When people doubt you, you stay grounded. When you fail, you learn. When you succeed, you keep growing. That balance, that steady internal state, is the foundation of unstoppable focus. So, train your mind to live in the middle, not too high on praise, not too low on pain. That's where clarity lives. The 3 levels of emotional mastery. Emotional discipline develops in 3 levels. Level 1. Awareness. You notice your emotion. You catch it before it controls you. Level 2. Regulation. You learn how to redirect that energy. Anger becomes fuel. Fear becomes focus. Sadness becomes compassion. Level 3. Transformation. You no longer resist emotions. You use them as power. You turn pain into wisdom. You turn stress into strategy. You turn emotion into art. You can't skip levels. You build them one conscious moment at a time. Each time you choose awareness over reaction, each time you choose reflection over judgment, you rise. Building clarity in a noisy mind. The world today is loud. Too many opinions. Too many distractions. Too much mental noise. If you want clarity, you have to create silence, on purpose. Clarity isn't found scrolling your feed. It's found in stillness. In the quiet moments when it's just you, your thoughts, and truth. So make stillness a discipline. 10 minutes in silence each morning. No phone. No music. Just breath and awareness. At first, it feels uncomfortable, your mind will wander. But stay with it, because in that silence, the fog begins to lift. You start hearing your own voice again. Your intuition wakes up. And from that space, decisions become easier. Priorities become clear. Life feels lighter. Mental clarity is not something you find, it's something you build. Emotional detox. Letting go of what no longer serves you. You can't fill a glass that's already full. And you can't focus when your mind is crowded with emotional residue. Old grudges. Unresolved guilt. Past mistakes. These emotions weigh you down, quietly stealing your clarity. So, it's time to detox. Not your body, your emotions. Here's a simple exercise. Write down 3 emotions you've been carrying for too long. Maybe resentment. Maybe regret. Maybe fear. Then ask yourself, what is this emotion still teaching me? Once you've learned the lesson, let it go. You don't need to carry the weight to keep the wisdom. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's freedom. Because when your heart is light, your mind becomes clear. Mental filters, controlling what enters your mind. Your mind is like a garden, whatever you let in grows. If you feed it negativity, fear, gossip, comparison, weeds take over. If you feed it truth, gratitude, and wisdom, clarity blooms. So, protect your inputs. Be careful what you read, what you watch, who you listen to. Your focus is shaped by your feed. If you want to think clearly, consume consciously. Every morning, ask yourself, what am I feeding my mind today? Let the answer be something that builds peace, not pressure. Rehearse peace, not panic. Discipline is repetition. You don't wait for chaos to practice calm, you rehearse it daily. You can train your brain to default to peace by visualizing calm responses even before problems appear. When you imagine yourself staying composed under stress, your brain starts wiring that reaction as normal. So when real challenges come, you respond with instinctive control. Not panic, not fear. This is how high performers think. They train calm like a skill, and that training gives them an edge when everyone else is crumbling. Emotional discipline equals emotional freedom. Emotional discipline is not about control, it's about liberation. Because when you master your emotions, you stop being a slave to other people's energy. You stop letting someone's bad mood ruin your peace. You stop letting fear delay your dreams. You stop letting doubt decide your destiny. You walk into every room calm, confident, centered. You lead your emotions instead of chasing them. That's freedom, and freedom is focus. The Clarity Code. Let's close this chapter with the Clarity Code. 5 daily affirmations to train emotional strength. 1. I observe my emotions. They don't define me. 2. Calm is my power. 3. I choose clarity over chaos. 4. My peace is my responsibility. 5. I control my energy, and that controls my results. Repeat these lines each morning and night. Let them sink deep, not just into your mind, but into your identity. Because the more disciplined your emotions, the clearer your focus. And the clearer your focus, the faster you win. Remember, you don't have to control everything around you. Just master what's within you. That's how emotional discipline becomes your superpower. And that's how you stay focused until you win. Chapter 5. Building relentless self-belief and inner drive. Every great victory begins with a belief. Not belief in the world, not belief in luck, but belief in you. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no strategy, no plan, no mentor can save you. Self-belief is the engine of progress. It's the voice that says, I can, when everything around you whispers, you can't. It's the quiet fire that keeps burning long after motivation fades. And that fire, that inner drive, is what turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Where belief begins, belief doesn't start when you succeed. It starts when you decide to try again after you've failed. You see, anyone can believe when it's easy. But real belief is forged in disappointment, in doubt, in delay. It's born in those lonely moments when no one is clapping for you, and you still choose to show up. Self-belief isn't arrogance. It's trust. Trust that your potential is bigger than your pain. Trust that the process is preparing you for something greater. And trust that the vision you hold in your mind isn't there by accident. It's a preview of what's possible. The voice inside. Inside every person there are 2 voices. One whispers possibility, the other whispers fear. The question is, which one do you feed every day? If you feed fear, doubt grows. If you feed belief, confidence grows. Every time you say, I can't, you train your mind to quit before it begins. Every time you say, I will, you rewire your brain to find a way. So guard your self-talk like treasure. Replace, I'm not ready, with, I'm learning. Replace, I failed, with, I'm improving. Replace, it's too hard, with, I'm getting stronger. Because your words build your world. Proof through action. Confidence doesn't come from talking about what you'll do. It comes from doing what you said you'd do. Especially when no one's watching. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, you prove you can trust your own word. And that's how belief compounds. Want to feel more confident? Stop chasing motivation, chase consistency. Because discipline builds evidence. And evidence builds belief. Even small wins, a workout, a study session, a new habit, each one whispers, see? You're capable. Stack those whispers long enough, and they become a roar of self-trust. The 1% rule of growth. People often think transformation requires giant leaps. But greatness is built in quiet increments, 1% at a time. That's the secret of the 1% rule. Improve just a little each day, and the compound effect will blow your mind. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Just move forward, even if it's messy, even if it's slow. Momentum matters more than perfection, because every small improvement feeds your belief. Every step you take reminds your mind, I'm moving, I'm growing, I'm capable. The resistance within. The moment you start believing in yourself, resistance will appear. You'll hear the whispers. You're not ready. You don't have enough. What if you fail again? That voice isn't truth, it's protection. Your brain wants comfort, not change. So when resistance shows up, smile. It means you're stepping into new territory. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action despite fear. Every time you move forward with trembling hands, you teach your brain that fear is survivable. And each survival strengthens belief. The circle of energy. Your environment either multiplies your belief or drains it. So audit your circle. Do the people around you ignite your energy? Or extinguish it? Do they talk possibilities or problems? You don't owe everyone access to your energy. Protect your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Pause, 8 seconds. Find people who stretch your standards, who remind you who you are when you forget. Because belief is contagious. So choose who you catch it from. Turn failure into fuel. Every winner has one thing in common. They've failed more times than others have tried. The difference is, they use failure as feedback. They don't personalize it, they analyze it. Failure says, here's what didn't work. Belief replies, then let's find what will. When you fail, don't fall apart, take notes. Because every setback carries a seed of strategy. If you listen, it will guide your next step. Remember this. You didn't lose, you learned. You didn't fall behind, you leveled up in awareness. That mindset keeps drive alive. Vision over validation. To build relentless self-belief, you must choose vision over validation. If you live for applause, you'll die in silence. Because some seasons require you to work unseen. There will be nights when no one understands your grind, when your progress feels invisible. But invisible progress is still progress. Your job is not to convince the world. It's to commit to the vision. Keep watering your seeds even when no one's watching. Because one day, that unseen effort will speak for itself. The inner drive formula. Inner drive is built through purpose, progress, and pressure. Purpose gives your struggle meaning. Progress gives your effort reward. Pressure gives your spirit shape. You need all three. Without purpose, you burn out. Without progress, you lose hope. Without pressure, you never grow. So embrace the friction. Pressure is proof you're expanding. When life gets harder, it's not punishing you. It's preparing you. Becoming your own believer. Here's the truth. You can't wait for someone else to believe in you. You have to become your own believer. You'll have to clap for yourself when the crowd goes quiet. You'll have to push yourself when no one's checking in. You'll have to speak faith when facts look impossible. But that's how champions are made. They don't wait for permission, they decide they're worthy. And when you make that decision, something shifts inside you. Fear loses its grip. Doubt loses its volume. And belief takes the wheel. The daily self-belief routine. To strengthen belief, practice it daily. Speak one affirmation out loud every morning. I am capable, I am chosen, I am ready. Take one brave action that moves you closer to your goal. Celebrate one small win before you sleep. Do this for 30 days. Watch how your energy transforms. Watch how your focus sharpens. Watch how you start walking differently. Not from ego, but from certainty. Because when self-belief meets discipline, you become unstoppable. When your drive comes from within, no one can take it away. So believe, even when it's dark. Work, even when it's lonely. Trust, even when it's slow. Because the moment you decide to believe in yourself completely, you've already won half the battle. The rest is just alignment. That's how you build relentless self-belief. That's how you light a fire that never burns out. That's how you focus on you till you win. Chapter 6: Sustaining Consistency and Long-Term Focus. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they stop showing up. Consistency is the bridge between goals and greatness. It's not about intensity, it's about endurance. Anyone can start strong, but it takes a different kind of strength to keep going. When the excitement fades, when results are slow, and when no one is cheering, that's what this chapter is about. The art of staying focused long after motivation disappears. The power of steady progress. Think of a river cutting through rock. It's not because of its power, it's because of its persistence. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's the repetition of small disciplines that compound quietly over time. Every day you follow through on a simple habit, you're making a deposit in the bank of your future. And those small deposits, day after day, build unshakable results. Here's the truth. Success doesn't demand perfection, it demands persistence. Why most people lose focus? We live in a world addicted to speed. Fast money, fast results, fast gratification. But greatness grows in seasons, not seconds. When progress feels slow, most people mistake growth for failure. They quit right before the breakthrough. If you can learn to stay focused during the silent seasons, when progress hides and nothing seems to move, you'll separate yourself from 90% of the world. Because while others give up, you'll still be building. The discipline of routine. Discipline isn't punishment. It's structure that protects your vision from chaos. Your routine is your defense against distraction. Without a routine, you rely on mood. And moods are unreliable. Design your day before the world does it for you. Set times for work, for rest, for reflection. Build systems that make success automatic. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things, consistently. Because the greatest performers in any field aren't the most talented, they're the most organized in their effort. The 3 phases of consistency. Consistency has 3 phases: excitement, resistance, and mastery. Excitement is when everything feels new and inspiring. You feel unstoppable. Resistance is when enthusiasm fades and doubt appears. This is where most people quit. Mastery is when effort becomes identity. When you no longer force yourself to show up, you just do. The secret? Push through the second phase. That's where transformation hides. Long-term focus in a short-term world. Your mind will always crave instant reward. But long-term focus is about trading what you want now for what you want most. The question is simple. Can you delay gratification? Can you say no to distractions disguised as opportunities? Can you choose progress over pleasure, today, tomorrow, and the next day? That choice defines your destiny. Every visionary you admire, the athlete, the artist, the thinker, the builder, has mastered the patience to wait, to work, and to believe. They understand that growth takes time, and that time reveals the ones who stayed faithful. Systems beat motivation. Motivation gets you started. Systems keep you going. A system is a repeatable process that removes emotion from effort. When you rely on motivation, you'll work only when you feel like it. When you rely on systems, you'll work regardless of how you feel. For example, set a fixed morning routine that centers your mind. Create scheduled blocks for deep focus. Track your habits visually. Let progress motivate you. These small systems remove decision fatigue and keep your attention where it belongs, on your vision. The role of reflection. Consistency without reflection leads to burnout. You can't keep pouring energy without refilling your awareness. Every week, pause and ask, what worked? What didn't? What can I adjust? This reflection keeps your path aligned. Because true focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. When you review and refine, your consistency becomes intelligent, not robotic. When boredom strikes, one of the greatest enemies of consistency is boredom. We love newness, but progress often feels repetitive. You'll study the same lessons, practice the same skills, repeat the same routines. But boredom is not a sign to quit. It's a sign you're mastering something. Champions embrace repetition. They understand that excellence is built in silence, through the dull work no one sees. So when boredom shows up, don't seek excitement. Seek depth. Go deeper into your craft, your focus, your purpose. The focused mindset. A focused mind is a trained mind. It doesn't chase every thought. It directs attention like a laser. The human brain cannot hold multiple priorities at once. Multitasking is a myth. Every time you switch tasks, you lose clarity. So choose your focus like it's sacred. Protect it. Work in concentrated blocks, free of noise. Then rest deliberately. Focus deeply. Rest deeply. That rhythm sustains you. Progress over perfection. Perfection kills progress. The moment you start obsessing over flawless results, you stop taking action. Consistency thrives on imperfection. You don't need perfect days. You need persistent ones. Missed a day? Start again tomorrow. Fell short of your target? Adjust and move forward. Consistency is not about never falling. It's about never staying down. Every time you restart, you prove that focus still lives in you. The long game. Focus on the long game. Not the applause, not the instant wins, but the person you're becoming. Because consistency doesn't just build results. It builds identity. You become reliable, disciplined, unshakable. You become someone who finishes what they start. And when that becomes your character, success is inevitable. Because you no longer depend on moods or moments. You depend on principles. Long-term focus is not a skill. It's a lifestyle. It's the decision to honor your commitments, even when emotion argues otherwise. And over time, something beautiful happens. You stop asking, "How long will it take?" and start saying, "As long as it takes, I'll be here." That's the language of champions. That's how you outlast the noise, how you outgrow the doubt, how you outwork the excuses. Stay consistent. Stay focused. Stay faithful. Because while others fade with time, you'll still be rising, one steady step at a time, till you win. Chapter 7. The Psychology of Winning, Turning Focus into Victory. Winning doesn't begin on the field. It begins in the mind. Before a champion lifts a trophy, they've already won the silent battles of thought, belief, and focus. The psychology of winning is not about luck. It's about alignment. Aligning your mind, your emotions, and your actions toward one vision that refuses to die. When you master your mind, victory becomes a byproduct of your focus. The inner game comes first. Every victory you see on the outside is first earned on the inside. You can't outperform your mindset. If you see yourself as unworthy, your actions will match that image. If you believe in your potential, you'll rise to meet it. The inner game is built through awareness. Notice your thoughts. Notice your self-talk. Are you feeding doubt, or are you feeding focus? Because every day you choose your mental diet, and that diet determines your destiny. The winner's identity. Winners don't chase success, they embody it. They act, think, and prepare as if they're already who they aim to become. That's the secret. Identity shapes behavior. When you start seeing yourself as focused, disciplined, and capable, you naturally act that way. Your results are the shadow of your self-image. Change the image and the results follow. So stop asking, "When will I win?" Start asking, "Who do I need to become to win?" The power of mental rehearsal. Your mind can't tell the difference between real experience and vividly imagined experience. That's why champions visualize. They rehearse success before it happens. They see themselves calm under pressure, confident in the moment, and victorious at the end. This isn't fantasy, it's focus training. Every image you replay strengthens the neural pathways of success. You are literally wiring your brain to win. So before you act, see it. Before you perform, feel it. Before you win, believe it. Confidence through preparation. Confidence isn't a gift, it's the outcome of preparation. The more prepared you are, the calmer your mind becomes under stress. When others panic, you execute, not because you're fearless, but because you've trained for the moment. Confidence isn't loud. It's quiet certainty born from repeated focus. You win not by hoping, but by practicing so well that doubt becomes irrelevant. Overcoming the fear of failure. Every winner has lost, many times. But they learn to fail forward. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of its formula. Fear whispers, "What if I lose?" Faith answers, "What if I learn?" When you detach from the outcome and focus on the process, you become unstoppable. Because failure only breaks those who stop trying. It strengthens those who stay focused through the fall. Emotional control. Winning requires emotional intelligence. You can't lead your life if you can't lead your emotions. Anger, doubt, and frustration, they all come. But the focused mind doesn't react, it responds. Pause before speaking. Breathe before deciding. Recenter before continuing. You'll notice, the calm mind always sees more clearly. And clarity is your greatest advantage in the chaos of competition. The science of flow. There's a mental state where effort disappears, where time slows down and performance feels effortless. This is called flow. Flow is not luck, it's trained focus. To enter flow, remove distractions, set clear goals, and fully immerse yourself. Your brain releases dopamine and norepinephrine, fueling deep engagement. In this state, you're not thinking about winning, you become the act of winning. Focus merges with motion. Doubt dissolves. Only presence remains. That's where mastery lives. The momentum mindset. Winning isn't one big leap. It's the accumulation of small wins over time. Celebrate progress. Each small win releases motivation chemicals in the brain, rewarding you for moving forward. Momentum grows when you acknowledge progress. Even a 1% improvement compounds into greatness. Never underestimate small steps. They're the rhythm of victory. Surrounding yourself with energy. Environment shapes psychology. Who you listen to determines how you think. Who you spend time with shapes how you see yourself. Winners build winning environments. They surround themselves with growth, not gossip. They protect their space, their time, and their energy. Every conversation, every piece of content, is either feeding your focus or draining it. Choose wisely. Your circle is either your anchor or your wings. The mindset of perseverance. The psychology of winning is grounded in one truth. You must refuse to quit. When it gets hard, when progress slows, when results hide, remember why you started. Every champion has moments of weakness, but they don't live there. They get up, refocus, and move again. That resilience, that comeback spirit, is what separates winners from dreamers. Defining your own victory. Winning isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than you were yesterday. True victory is internal. It's peace of mind that comes from knowing you gave your best every single day. When you stop comparing and start creating, you find fulfillment, not just achievement. Because success without peace is still failure. The champion's creed. Repeat this to yourself. I am focused. I am prepared. I am consistent. I am patient. I will not be distracted. I will not be defeated. I will stay true until I win. That's the creed of those who rise above the noise. Those who build, not boast. Those who lead, not follow. Those who stay focused until they win. Winning isn't a moment, it's a mindset. It's the decision to keep your attention on what matters most, no matter how long it takes. You've come this far by focusing on you. Now, carry that focus into your actions, into your mornings, your discipline, your dreams. Because when your mind is steady, your victory is certain. You've learned how to focus on you. Now go win. Chapter 8. The Power of Patience and Timing. Every dream has its own timeline. You can't rush the sunrise. You can't force the seed to bloom before its season. In the same way, your success, your growth, your breakthrough, they all have their appointed time. But in a world obsessed with speed, patience has become a lost art. Yet, true focus, the kind that lasts, is built on the foundation of patience. The silent strength of patience. Patience is not weakness. It's quiet strength. It's choosing to wait without quitting. Most people mistake patience for passivity, as if waiting means doing nothing. But patience is active. It's faith in motion. It's working with consistency, even when results delay. When you stay patient, you tell life, I trust the process. I'm not in a hurry because I know my time will come. That mindset creates peace, and peace sharpens focus. Timing is everything. Every goal has a rhythm. Every success story has a sequence. You can't skip steps in destiny. Sometimes what you think is a delay is actually divine alignment. You're not being denied, you're being prepared. If the doors haven't opened yet, it's because you're still being built for what's waiting on the other side. Timing doesn't work against you, it works for you. Because premature success can destroy what patience would have strengthened. Learning to wait without losing faith. Waiting is one of life's greatest teachers. It tests your faith, your endurance, and your vision. When you can wait and still believe, still work, still prepare, still show up, you've matured into a mindset that few ever reach. Impatience says, it's taking too long. Patience says, I'm still becoming. You don't just wait for your moment. You grow into it. The illusion of overnight success. Scroll through social media and you'll see highlight reels, but not the hidden hours behind them. We glorify the moment of success, but not the years of silence that built it. No one truly wins overnight. Every overnight success is built on unseen patience, on days of doubt, on quiet persistence when no one was watching. The illusion of speed tempts you to compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Don't fall for that trap. Your journey has its own clock, and it's still ticking perfectly. The science of growth. Even nature respects process. A tree doesn't grow taller by wishing. It grows through steady seasons. Roots first, fruits later. And if the roots aren't deep enough, the tree won't survive the storm. That's how patience protects you. It lets your roots grow deep before the wind arrives. So don't despise slow seasons. They're the ones making you strong enough to handle the harvest. Patience builds character. When results are slow, you either quit or you grow. Patience is the forge where strength of character is made. It burns away arrogance, sharpens humility, and teaches you emotional control. Impatience makes you reactive. Patience makes you wise. Every time you choose to wait with faith, you're building resilience, the kind that can't be shaken by delay or disappointment. The balance between action and surrender. Patience doesn't mean sitting still. It means doing your part and trusting life to do the rest. You act with focus, you plan with wisdom, but you surrender the timing. Because control is an illusion. You can control your habits, your attitude, your effort, but you can't control when the reward arrives. That's where surrender meets discipline. You do the work. You stay ready. And when timing aligns, you move. Recognizing seasons. Life moves in cycles, like the seasons. There are planting seasons, growth seasons, and harvest seasons. If you're in a planting season, don't expect fruit yet. If you're in a growth season, don't rush the process. And when your harvest comes, receive it with gratitude, not pride. Knowing your season protects your energy. It helps you stop comparing your winter to someone else's summer. Everything blooms at its appointed time. The peace of letting go. Sometimes patience isn't about waiting. It's about releasing what no longer serves you. You can't receive new blessings with your hands still holding the old ones. Let go of the pressure, the timeline, the need to control. Breathe. Be present. You'll notice, when you stop chasing, the right things start finding you. Because peace attracts progress. The focused mind and time. Time is not your enemy. It's your ally, if you use it well. Every day ask, what can I do today that moves me one step closer? When you stop worrying about how long it takes, and start focusing on what you can do now, you make time work for you, not against you. Focus plus patience equals power. Because when you're patient, you make decisions out of clarity, not desperation. The beauty of slow progress. Fast success fades quickly. But slow, steady success, that's unbreakable. Pause. 6 seconds. Slow progress builds confidence. It allows you to learn, adapt, and evolve along the way. You don't just reach your goal. You become the kind of person who deserves it. And when that happens, success no longer surprises you. It fits you. When it's your time. When it's your time, no one can stop it. No force, no failure, no delay can hold it back. Pause, 8 seconds. You won't have to chase. Doors will open naturally. Opportunities will align. People will show up. And you'll realize everything you waited for was preparing you for this moment. So keep the faith. Keep the focus. Keep showing up. Because when your time comes, you'll be ready. Patience is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Soft instrumental rise. It's about trusting that every step, even the slow ones, are moving you toward your purpose. So be still. Stay focused. And remember, what's meant for you will find you when you're ready for it. Until then, keep growing quietly, keep believing deeply, and keep becoming who you were meant to be. Your time is coming. Just stay patient and keep focusing on you until you win. Keep focusing. Keep winning. You have everything you need to begin. Understanding your motives, balancing your needs, training calm, building tiny habits, practicing discipline, developing social intelligence, and making better decisions. These are your tools, your instruments for progress, your daily reminders that the path to greatness starts with focus and ends with perseverance. Focus on you till you win is more than a phrase. It's a promise, not only to yourself, but to everyone who will benefit from your growth. Because when you become steady, wise, and clear, you influence quietly. You inspire silently. You lead powerfully. Start small. Be consistent. Use the pause. Rehearse calm. Choose higher motives. Repeat. Over time, those small actions become unstoppable momentum, the kind that transforms your life from the inside out. Wherever you are on your journey, this is your moment to step forward. Choose one micro-action, just one thing you can do today, to protect your focus, to strengthen your mind, to build your peace. Then do it. And as you continue your journey, remember, you're not alone. If this audiobook has inspired you, subscribe to Audiobook Soundz Chasing Greatness, your daily source for calm, clarity, and growth. Save this audiobook. Return to it whenever your focus wavers, because every listen will remind you who you're becoming and why you started. Thank you for listening. Take a breath, refocus, and take your next step, because your time is now. Keep focusing, keep growing, keep winning.